Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas. Today, we're diving into the philosopher Martin Heidegger and his pretty mind-bending theory of what art really is. Get ready, because this might just change the way you look at a painting or a sculpture forever.
So let's kick things off with a question that seems simple on the surface, but Heidegger knew was incredibly deep. What makes a work of art a work of art? I mean, really, is it just a pretty object? Something nice to hang on a wall? Or is there something much, much more going on? All right, let's get into it.
Our starting point, our first clue in this whole investigation, comes from a famous painting by Vincent van Gogh. And no, it's not the Starry Night or the sunflowers you're probably thinking of. It's actually a painting of something, well, something way more ordinary. Just a pair of old, beat-up peasant shoes.
Now, Heidegger kicks things off pretty much how any of us would, right? He looks at the painting and goes, yep, those are shoes. They're a piece of equipment, a tool for your feet. But, and this is a huge but, he says if we just stop there, if we only see them as a functional object, we've completely missed the entire point of the artwork.
And this is where things get really interesting. This is where Heidegger takes this giant leap. He's not just looking at the shoes anymore, he's looking through them. It's not about the leather and the laces. He's suddenly seeing the whole life lived in those shoes, the hardship, the silent connection to the soil, the cycles of nature. You see, the painting isn't just a picture of shoes. For him, it's a revelation about them. And that revelation, that's the whole ball game for Heidegger. He believes a great work of art does something absolutely extraordinary. It doesn't just show you a thing, it opens up an entire world.
I mean, just look at what's inside this world. It's everything. It's the whole life of the peasant woman who wore them. The art lets us feel her silent worries about having enough to eat, her quiet joys in getting by, her place in the huge cycle of life and death. Those shoes, they're like the key that unlocks this entire universe of meaning.
So when Heidegger says world, he means this whole interconnected web, the history, the culture, the shared meanings that define a people. The artwork is like a sudden clearing in a forest where you can finally see all of this clearly. But you know, a world can't just hang in thin air. It needs some ground to stand on. It needs a foundation. So, for that other piece of the puzzle, let's switch gears and look at something completely different, an ancient Greek temple. This is going to show us the other crucial part of a work of art. Now, think about it. Unlike the painting of the shoes, a temple doesn't really depict anything, does it? It's not telling you a story about a person's life. It just stands there. But in that solid, powerful presence, it does something else entirely. It reveals what Heidegger calls earth. Think about how that temple is built. The art doesn't try to hide its materials, right? The stone isn't just a building block that disappears into the design. No, the artwork lets the stone be stone. You can feel its weight, its strength. It lets the metal shine. This raw, physical stuff that pushes back, that has its own powerful presence. That is earth. Okay, so now we have our two key players. We've got world, which is all about opening things up to meaning and history, and then we have earth, which is the raw stuff that grounds everything, the part that kind of hides itself and resists being totally understood. And here's the kicker. For Heidegger, these two are definitely not friends. In fact, they're in a constant battle. And this is the absolute core of Heidegger's idea. What makes a work of art art? What makes it feel alive is this constant fight, this strife between the world and the earth. It's this incredible dynamic tension, like a constant push and pull. The world is always trying to create a clearing, to pull everything into the light so we can understand it. But the earth is always pulling back, trying to stay closed, grounded, and just a little bit mysterious.
And this fight, this strife, it's not a mistake. It's not something broken that needs fixing. It's the very engine of the artwork. The whole point of the art is to hold that tension open for us, to let that battle play out. It's a creative struggle, and the artwork is basically the stadium where it all happens.
So, why does this fight matter so much? Well, this brings us to the grand finale of the whole idea. It all comes down to Heidegger's completely radical take on the word truth. See, for Heidegger, truth isn't just about whether a statement is correct or not. That's way too simple. He reaches back to the ancient Greeks and their word for it, aletheia. And aletheia means unconcealment. Think of it like this. Truth isn't a thing, it's an event. It's that aha moment when something hidden suddenly comes out into the open and reveals itself. And guess what? He says art is one of the main places where this event takes place. And that is his jaw-dropping conclusion. In that essential battle between the world trying to open up and the earth trying to stay hidden, a space is created. It's that clearing in the forest again. And right there, in that clearing, for just a moment, truth happens. The real nature of things is allowed to shine forth.
So the artwork suddenly becomes this really special place. It's not just decoration, it's not just entertainment, it is a stage where truth can happen. In Van Gogh's painting, the real truth of what those shoes are, their very being, is revealed. So, what do we do with all this?
Well, Heidegger was actually pretty worried about the modern world. He saw the art industry turning artworks into just another product, shipped around like coal, ripped from their original context and stuck in a museum. When that happens, he argued, they lose their connection to their world. They just become pretty objects, and that incredible power they had to reveal truth, it's just gone.
And that leaves us with a really powerful question for today, doesn't it? If a great work of art is a site where truth sets itself to work, what truths are the artworks of our own time struggling to bring into the light? That's a powerful new lens to look through the next time you encounter a piece of art. Thanks for joining this explainer.